Well, hello. It's a good day. Victory over Fulham in the Premier League. Up next is our Champions League game. Finally, a return to the Champions League where we belong. But today we are going to go over the 2-1 victory over Fulham in the Premier League. Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to the channel to help it grow. Don't forget to support the video with a like and leave your comments below. But let's just jump into it then. So we survived what was a nervy finale to the game to beat Fulham 2-1 and continue the unbeaten start to the Premier League season. And then to top things off, Arsenal finally suffered their first Premier League defeat in a game where they actually played very well, but Manchester United got the better of them, and that has left us 1 point behind them in the league table. Antonio Conte made 5 changes to the team that drew against West Ham. Romero and Bentancur both returned from injury, and Richarlison and Longley made their first starts. Marco Silva named an unchanged side from Fulham's 2-1 win over Brighton, with deadline day signings Dan James, former Spur, Carlos Vinicius and Willian named on the bench. So Kane's close range goal from Sessegnon's cross appeared to have made the game safe for the dominant host following Hojbjerg's first half opener at the Tottenham Spurs Stadium. But it was that man, Alexander Mitrovic, that set up a tense climax when he controlled a long pass from Tete and curled what was a sumptuous finish past Lloris. Had no chance, and that was his 6th goal of the season. I don't know if any of you remember former videos I've done way back at the beginning of the channel. Mitrovic is somebody that I've mentioned in the past that I would love to have seen as our backup striker. And this is exactly why. He's now proving that he can cut it in the Premier League and he's not just a championship striker. So the Serb had barely threatened until that moment, but we were almost punished for missing, a succession of earlier chances when his deflected strike in the penultimate minute of normal time forced an outstanding save from Hugo Lloris. We thought we'd finally wrapped up the win when Richarlison put the ball in the back of the net from a close range effort moments later, but VAR ruled him offside in the build-up, and that was the correct decision. He was only just, meaning we were made to sweat a little longer for our victory, which moved us level on points with second place Man City. They're only above us on goal difference. Richarlison, when he scored the goal, went on some mental celebration, taking his top off, which then saw him booked. And, it's the rules at the end of the day. You take them off, you get booked. However, in retrospect, the goal never stood, and it's a bit annoying because really in that situation, as far as I'm concerned, the goal doesn't count. Therefore, the yellow card shouldn't count. But, I don't make the rules. And I felt sorry for Richarlison because he was great all game. He's deserved a goal. Came close a couple of times, which we'll talk about. But anyway, we enjoyed nearly total dominance from the outset. We created a glut of early chances, seeing the first of 2 goals ruled out when Son's diagonal cross flew into the net with Kane in an offside position as he attempted to flick it on. Richarlison, who, as I said, he was a menace throughout, on his first Spurs start, then created another opportunity for Son after nutmegging, and I'm going to get this wrong, aren't I? Bio, anyway, and cutting the ball back for him, but the South Korean's effort took a deflection and flew over the bar. Fulham then needed a last-ditch tackle from Bio and Kane to avoid falling behind following more good work from Richarlison. Son then struck the underside of the bar from Kane's deft ball over the top, but the breakthrough came soon after that. Hojbjerg exchanged passes with Richarlison as he entered the Fulham box, and despite being surrounded by defenders, the Dane managed to stroke a low finish past Bernd Leno, the former Arsenal goalkeeper, for his 2nd goal of the campaign. Something that Hojbjerg has been massively lacking in his career is goals. Antonio Conte spoke a few weeks back about how he's said to his midfielders arriving late at the edge of the box he would like them to take more shots, more chances. Obviously now we're reaping the benefits from that. We then picked up where we left off in the second half, but continued to spurn chances, with Dyer missing perhaps our best opportunity when he fired over from a Richarlison cross. when he was left unmarked. Sessegnon was then denied by Leno as we continued to carve Fulham open, but the Spurs wing back was the architect for the second goal. When it finally arrived, his low cross steered home by Kane for his 188th Premier League goal, putting him clear of Andy Cole completely. He was joint third. He's now completely clear in third place in the all-time Premier League scoring charts. Also, he's now tied with Thierry Henry for the most prolific scorer in London derbies. I mean, this guy's insane. He's just a record-breaking phenomenon. So yeah, that's another one that he's got to his name. Richarlison then struck the inside of the post as we tried to push for a third. And I tell you, what a strike it was. If you haven't seen it, go back, look at the highlights. It'll be out there somewhere. What a strike, so unlucky. But Mitrovic's brilliant strike came moments later, and then we were indebted to Lloris for keeping him from scoring again when he acrobatically tipped another one of his efforts over the bar. Richarlison, obviously we've spoken about, was denied a goal by VAR, and the guy really deserved it. He absolutely worked tirelessly through that, and we've seen it when he's come off the bench in games. He's been an absolute workhorse, closing down everything from the front, a pressing monster, a nuisance, winds people up. I mean, I hated it when we used to play against him, but to have him on your team, you can see why the fans of every team he's played for so far have fallen in love with him. But, you know, it didn't matter in the end. Fulham couldn't muster up any more chances, and we were soon celebrating our 4th win from 6 games. So let's talk about Antonio Conte and what he said. I've got the quotes here. He said, "For sure, I liked the performance. If I have to find a situation that we need to improve, it is to be clinical, because when you create so many chances, you have to score. We scored, but the goals were disallowed and we hit the bar. I love to see my players play the ball with personality and to see the 3 strikers working very hard for the team with the ball and without the ball. They give us a lot of quality and a lot of danger for the opponent. When I see this type of performance from my players, Son included, I'm not worried. I know that these strikers are going to score many goals. It is important to have great enthusiasm and to be excited for the team, but at the same time, I have to be realistic. Don't forget last November, the situation was really problematic, but we lost 3-0 at home against United, and then the club decided to make a different decision. And by that, he's referring to Nuno Espirito Santo being sacked and then him being appointed. He continued, if someone thinks that we cancelled everything and we are at the same level of the other top teams, I think this is not realistic. If I want to tell you a lie, I can tell you a lie, but I like to tell the truth. I am the first to say that we have to play this season with ambition to be competitive, but we finished the last season with 20 points less than City and Liverpool. Now I think we are doing good things, but it's really soon to give a realistic judgment, in my opinion. It doesn't mean that we won't be ambitious and won't fight for something, but I have a bit of experience to tell you that we need time and patience. Then talking about Richarlison, you feel him on the side of the pitch, he said with a smile. You feel his personality. He is a warrior, a fighter. We needed this type of player. And, you know, looking at his performances so far, you have to say he's undoubtedly the type of player that he wants. He's fast, he's aggressive, he's mean, he doesn't give up. He takes up good positions, he presses from the front. Honestly, I can't really express any more good words about him. I just wish that he'd been given a goal. So yeah, the Brazilian on his first start for Spurs was outstanding, a whirlwind of energy. He was ferocious in aggression, and you know, he's not short of quality either, as we saw from his assist last week, the outside of the boot curler for Kane. The completeness of his performance could be seen in his statistics as well. So Richarlison created 4 chances, including his cushioned assist for Hojbjerg's opener. He had 10 touches in the opposition box, which is 3 more than anybody else. He had 3 shots and would have had a goal too if it hadn't been for VAR. He caused havoc for Fulham's defence, dovetailing with Kane and Son as if he'd been there for years. I mean, kind of like Kulusevski has. They've both just slotted in really, really well and really quickly. But it was what he did out of possession that really excited Conte. And Conte then went on to say, many players with talent don't want to work for the ball. Richarlison, plainly not one of them. His appetite for the dirty work could be seen in the moments after the VAR call, which cost him his goal. He held his head in his hands, but only for a second. Then he was off again, chasing, hustling, harrying the Fulham defenders ahead of him. By the end of the game, Premier League tracking data showed nobody in a Spurs shirt had recorded more high-intensity sprints than him, with 26, more tackles, 4, and he won more duels with 9, while only Bentancur ran further than him. So Richarlison completed 11.3 kilometres, and Bentancur was the only player to run more than him. For me, he played in an amazing way, honestly, continued Conte. And if we just look at it, so there are a lot of people out there that balked at the 60 million fee that we paid to sign him from Everton, but the early evidence would suggest it will prove money well spent. Richarlison is the ultimate Conte player. He'll fight to make sure of it as well. He will prove the doubters wrong. I can guarantee that. So that was the game. Apart from Richarlison being absolutely incredible, some other players that we have to talk about is Clement Longley, obviously coming into the side to give Ben Davies a rest. I don't think it was because he's eventually going to be Ben Davies' replacement. I do feel that he's there for cover and to also push Ben Davies. But Ben Davies has got a well-earned rest, so you'll probably see him come back into the side for the Champions League game against Marseille. But Longley, he didn't look out of place at all. I thought he played really well. Looked good on the ball, defensively looked pretty solid, and I think our defence is an easy one to slot into, really. Perisic and Sessegnon have both been reasonably decent when they've been in the squad. Emerson Royale is obviously solid defensively, not so good going forward. Dyer controls the line really well, communicates a lot. Romero, obviously Sanchez has been in recently and done very well, but Romero, you know what you're going to get from him. I just think to slot one more person into that 5, it's fairly easy if they've got good quality, and Clement Longley obviously has. So really, really happy for him. Hojbjerg obviously getting himself another goal, happy with that. He made some nice passes in the game as well, so his vision is definitely improving. And I wouldn't say it was never there. I just think the type of role that he has, where he's supposed to break up attacks and to cover the defence, maybe he doesn't make as many of those passes as we'd like him to. But with Conte and the way we play with Bentancur there next to him, or if it be Basuma or Skip, we're going to win the ball a lot more, which then gives him a bit more freedom. There's more cover. They can work in a double pivot between Hojbjerg and whoever's next to him. But obviously with the 3 centre-backs, when we're in possession, there's no reason why Dyer or Romero or Davies can't then step a little bit further forward. And we see this from Davies all the time. He joins in attacks constantly. I don't know how much of that he's allowed to do, but we definitely see him getting up the pitch a lot. But look, in terms of it, where we are in the Premier League, I'm happy. And as we spoke about before, with the previous results against some of the teams we've played last season, we would have had just the 3 points so far, which came against Nottingham Forest. In the reverse fixtures against the other teams, we'd have been on 0. So, look, we're in a good place at the moment. We're still undefeated. So let's talk about what we've got next. It is a huge week coming up for us. The return to the Champions League with a home clash against Marseille on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, the 7th of September. That kickoff time is 8 p.m. Look, it's going to be mental. Is it going to be an easy game? No, it's not. If you look at the French league right now, Marseille are sitting in second place. If you have a look through their squad, they've got some very good players in there, established Champions League players over the years. So it's not going to be easy. The added bonus that we've got is that our first Champions League game is at home. And I can tell you the stadium is going to be rocking. The fans are going to play a huge part in this game. They will make a massive difference. We've also got a lot of experience in our squad now. A lot of them that have been there for a while have played in the Champions League. Even Perisic is obviously played at the highest level, Champions League constantly, World Cup final and scored in one. Fraser Forster, even as a backup keeper, is going to be key in this. And for those of you not in the Fulham game, but I think it was the Forest game where Sonny was taken off and had a bit of a sulk. Or no, the West Ham game, whichever one it was, when he sulked, and it might have been the West Ham game, he sulked and sat down. Fraser Forster noticed this. He got up from where he was on the bench, walked all the way across, sat next to Sonny, and was talking to him, comforting him, whatever he needed. So that's already showing you straight away the maturity of a player like Fraser Forster and how he's bedded himself into the squad, even though we haven't actually seen him don the Spurs shirt in an official game yet. So loads of these players are really going to play their part in the build-up to what is a huge game, and they will play that on the night, and the fans will play a massive, massive part. So I'm really excited for that. And then we have to quickly switch focus to Manchester City on Saturday, the 10th of September. And we travel. It's an away game. That's live on Sky Sports. Kick-off 5:30. It's one of them where we've actually been a massive thorn in Manchester City's side over the last few years in the Champions League, in the Premier League. We are their bogey team. However, they did not have Erling Haaland before. The guy's a monster. He's already got 10 goals in the Premier League. It's crazy. If he carries on at the strike rate that he's at right now, he will finish the season on 70 goals. In the Premier League, I can't see him finishing on that many, but he's got every chance of scoring more than 30 in a season. Now, could you imagine a few seasons into the Premier League, say he does score 70, if he was to score 70 goals every season, in his first 3 seasons, he'd scored 210 goals. Alan Shearer, in his whole career in the Premier League, only got 260. It is just absolutely mind-blowing. The guy is a beast. And Man City are in a position now where I think they've completed the jigsaw puzzle. Before, they could play all this little 1-2 touch football, in and out, drag you all over the place, lots of close-range finishes. But now they've got the option, if they want. They can play all this lovely football. And if the plan goes wrong, they can just whip a cross into the box because they've got someone that's tall, someone that's strong, someone that's prolific, takes up good positions. Defenders have to be sharp all the time. And the other thing about him, like, apart from him being tall and strong, he's rapid. He's a good footballer, so he can fit into any way their system works, with the added bonus of being an amazing striker. So look, it's going to be the biggest test of the season. A draw would be a fantastic result. I don't want to see us lose. The thing that I love at the moment, our defence doesn't look like it's ever going to concede too many goals. And one place where I would say Man City can be got at is their defence. So if we can have a strong defence, we can hit them on the break quick enough. We could come out with a draw quite easily, or we could get a sneaky win like we have done over the last few times we've played them. So look, I'm going into that with a positive mindset. If we win our Champions League game against Marseille, that will give us a massive boost going into that game as well, because the atmosphere in that dressing room is going to be electric, especially with an unbeaten start in the Premier League. So there's lots of positives. There will be rotation. A couple of players have managed to have some rest. Obviously, Harry Kane came off as well, so he's had a little bit of rest. And we're finally in a position where Harry Kane can rest in games. So this is really important for the development of this team. In Conte, we trust. I'm really happy. Tell me in the comments below, how do you feel? Are you confident in the position we're in? Are we going to pick up a trophy? Where are we going to finish in the league? What do you see the score being at Man City? But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for sticking around for the review of the Fulham game with a little bit about what's coming up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Post a like on the video. Put your comments below. Keep the conversation going. And until next time, come on you Spurs.